So what the is doing this?
Know whose it is?
Lost egg hair!
I don't know whose it is.
Just wanna go home.
You're so ridiculous.
I wanna go home.
Just sickening.
Well, we all knew it was just a matter of time, didn't we? Jasmine has been far too restrained since she arrived in America. She's contained her chaotic emotions for far too long, and now she's letting them all out. But is she really going to let some mysterious lip gloss end her engagement?
You're a cheater!
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are!
I never-
Yes, you
But
are!
that's not cheating.
Take me home!
Yeah, I'm dropping you off.
It's actually pretty rare to see Gino as heated as Jasmine in an argument. Could that mean he's guilty? Well, before we dive into things, let's start at the beginning. So we left Jasmine in the last episode, really missing her kids. But she's gonna have to get over it, and fast, because today's the day she finally gets to meet Gino's large extended Italian family in person.
I'm on my way to meet Gino's family for the first time, and I don't feel in the mood. I don't even know if I will ever feel in the mood.
Now, of course, we know that Jasmine has had history with Gino's family. They've had a lot of issues in the past, but today she has to be on her best behaviour because Gino is already upset at her. He still hasn't fully forgiven her for her butt implants, and it's clear that Jasmine is making an effort. I mean, she even dresses conservatively just so that they don't call her a gold digger.
I have to dress up all covering because they already have this idea that I'm a gold digger and I want to look super professional.
So as Gino and Jasmine drive to the meeting, we start to get a sense as to just how nervous and scared Jasmine really is.
I feel like a cow going to the butchery.
So what's the cause of Jasmine's anxiety? Well, she's concerned that Gino will put his family before her. This isn't exactly a new concern. They've had some huge arguments about this in the past. So this meeting is going to be the first real test. And Jasmine reminds him of this. She makes it clear she expects to be his #1 priority.
I just want to make sure that you know that if I don't feel comfortable, we have to come back home.
Now, quite sensibly, having learnt from previous mistakes, Gino is silent. He doesn't want to give Jasmine any ammunition, any reason to kick off before they've even arrived. But it feels like Jasmine is already in fighting spirits, and the wet, gloomy Michigan weather certainly isn't helping.
You know me, I take no from anyone. It's so gloomy, everything is so dark. The weather is like the scenario of a horror movie.
So what's causing so much anxiety for Jasmine? Why is she equating this to a horror movie? Well, it becomes very clear that she's worried if Gino's family don't like her, well, that could be the end of their relationship. That's how much power she fears that they have over him. And Jasmine is threatened by this.
My biggest fear is them stopping Gino from marrying me. Because I know that he really listens to his family.
Even before she's met them, emotions are already running high. In Jasmine's mind, everything is at stake here. She's worked herself up. She's convinced it's gonna go badly. So it comes as a really pleasant surprise when things actually get off to a great start.
When I first arrived, the first impression that I'm getting is that Gino's family seems happy to meet me. They're all smiley, very joyful, they are saying nice things.
Now, as it turns out, Gino's family are also on their best behaviour. But Jasmine always finds a way to turn a positive into a negative. You see, she says that they're only being nice to her so that they can lure her into false pretenses before they attack.
They're trying to be look friendly and all that, and they're just waiting for the moment to attack.
And it turns out that despite the initial small talk, despite the hugs and all of the laughter, actually, Jasmine's concerns might be well founded. Understandably, literally every single member of Gino's family have their question marks about her.
Yeah, and when we look on social media, we saw a lot of provocative type things. I guess we're a little bit concerned about why she's doing that. Is she trying to get other sugar daddies?
And it's not just Gino's brother and sister-in-law that have questions. We all know that Jasmine's relationship with cousin Dana isn't exactly the best. So you've really got to question what Gino's thinking when he confides in nephew Anthony and cousin Dana about Jasmine's butt implants.
She ended up spending the money I gave her for the wedding dress on like a cosmetic surgery. I'm like, whoa, I mean, I gave you that money for the wedding dress.
Right.
Not to be funny, Gino, but if you want your family to like her, then some things are probably best left unsaid. You can see from Anthony and Dana's faces that Gino's revelation here has only further intensified the question marks that they have about Jasmine. And when they finally all sit down for a meal, one by one, they begin to fire off all of these questions to Jasmine.
So you guys, what are you guys thinking about for like the wedding venue or and like when?
First on the agenda is the wedding. Jasmine reveals that they want a small, intimate wedding. Just the two of them. Why would I want a large wedding when my family can't even attend, she says. Now, of course, we also know that they don't exactly have the budget for a big celebration. But hearing this news, hearing that they won't be invited to Gino's wedding, his family aren't happy.
Kind of makes me feel upset because like she doesn't want to celebrate with us.
It's both of their weddings, so I think that Gino needs to chime in a little bit more.
Gino's family assume that it's Jasmine who's calling the shots. They're all too happy to blame her for the situation. But, wedding aside, Gino's family are obviously bursting at the seams to finally interrogate Jasmine. They've been waiting for this day for a very long time. And you just know that this could go very, very badly.
It's probably not just me, but probably a lot of people in the family have big concerns. Just like how grateful you are for everything Gino's really gonna bring to you.
Okay, so on the one hand, he is right. Jasmine has been ungrateful in the past towards Gino's generosity. She has this habit of expecting Gino's financial help. She sees it as something that he should do rather than something he's doing because he loves her. But on the other hand, it almost feels like Gino's family have taken things to the other extreme. It's as if they expect Jasmine to be eternally grateful for Gino allowing her to come to the States. Like they expect her to bow down and kiss his feet or something. And it's actually nice to see Gino defend her.
You sacrificed a lot and giving
I
up,
sacrificed.
leaving your family and your whole life in Panama.
How will you contribute and be a productive American?
Now, there's something about that question, about being a productive American, that Jasmine takes offence to. She sees it as them trying to remind her that she should thank her lucky stars that she's in the States. Only Jasmine doesn't see it like that. She doesn't consider being in Michigan as lucky. And what doesn't help is the fact that Gino is now unemployed. That question, the whole how will you contribute and be a productive American, feels a little passive-aggressive. There's an implication there that Jasmine, as an immigrant, is unproductive. He's phrased it really badly. What he should have done was ask, Jasmine, what are your plans for work? How will you be spending your days? But the fact that he didn't has offended Jasmine.
I'm an educated woman. I speak two languages. I have worked since I am 16 years old. I have always worked. With this kind of visa, I am not allowed to work.
Now, the truth is, Jasmine actually handled herself quite well, but she's well aware of the inference. She knows exactly what was meant by that question. It's pretty obvious that she's uncomfortable. Not only is she outnumbered, but the questions she's being asked have a bit of a sting to them. So it's no real surprise that Jasmine leaves the family lunch feeling like she'll never be accepted into Gino's family. She feels like she's been given the impression that she's not good enough because she's not American.
No one is Latin American or from somewhere else other than the United States.
No, because it's my
That's
family.
why the lack of empathy.
Jasmine seems really hurt by how that lunch went. She's trying her best not to cry, which coming from her is actually quite a big thing. But as the pair continue to talk about what went down, Jasmine drops her phone. It falls down the side of the seat, and when she goes fishing for it, what she finds is the beginning of a nightmare.
What is this?
I have no idea what that is. Is that yours?
Just look at Jasmine's face. If looks could kill, Gino would be a goner. This is her worst fears coming to life. The truth is, we all know that Jasmine fears rejection. She's constantly living in a state of fear that she's not enough for Gino. So now that she's found something that could prove her theory right, that could prove that Gino's looking elsewhere, well, Jasmine loses her shit.
What the are you talking about? This is no girlfriend or anything like that.
What is this?
I don't know.
Jasmine starts with anger. She's screaming at Gino, trying to get an answer from him, but he has none. He can't explain where this lip gloss has come from. Now, whether that's because he genuinely doesn't know, or because he's trying to cover his tracks, it's impossible to tell. But what is evident here is this is the first time that Gino has held his own in a fight against Jasmine. He's giving as good as he gets, and even Jasmine can't help but notice it. In fact, she sees that as a sign of guilt.
I have learned in these 3 years to read Gino through his body language, and he cannot hide it. I can tell he's guilty of.
Look, Gino is reacting more than he normally does. He's swearing a lot, he's shouting, and that normally isn't his style. So is that a sign that he's being overly defensive? Or is it just because he's sick of Jasmine's bullshit? Gino tells Jasmine that he's had this car for years, so the lip gloss could belong to literally anyone. It might belong to a friend, a family member, even a colleague. But that isn't enough to appease Jasmine, and her anger now turns to tears.
So what the is doing this?
Know whose it is?
Lost egg hair!
I don't know whose it is.
Just wanna go home.
You're so ridiculous.
I wanna go home.
Just sickening.
Jasmine begins to wail and bawl her eyes out. Frankly, it's dramatic and a bit scary to watch. Her reaction to this really isn't healthy. She's worked herself up into a frenzy, and it's actually really good to see Gino stand strong in the face of these tears. He refuses to crumble like he usually does.
You're a cheater!
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are!
I never-
Yes, you
But
are!
that's not cheating.
Take me out!
Yeah, I'm dropping you off.
Jasmine has lost her mind. She's screaming and crying at the top of her lungs, and this all gets way too much for Gino to handle. He pulls into a car park and he tells Jasmine he's ordering her an Uber. She's gonna stay in a hotel tonight because he is going back home by himself. And then he drives off alone.
I wanna go home. Please, I wanna go home. I don't have my passport. I don't have anything. I didn't bring any money.
Now, the truth is, she'd been on fairly good behaviour since arriving in the States, so we all knew that the dam was going to break eventually. But it seems like the emotional rollercoaster of today, the interrogation from Gino's family, coupled with perhaps an element of homesickness missing her kids, has led her to completely snap. This is a typical Jasmine overreaction, but you do have to wonder, with no money on her, not knowing where the heck she is, and having also dropped her phone and walked away, will this all come back to bite Gino? Will the way that he's dealt with this, kicking her out and driving off, actually end up becoming a much bigger issue than the lip gloss itself?